Hi everyone. So I've been wanting to make a video. I found this gym, The Reason I Jump, and I really wanted to share with you a bit of it. I have a child with a genetic condition called 15q11.2 BP1 through BP2 microdeletion. It's a lot of letters and numbers that just say that he is susceptible to learning disabilities, developmental disabilities, some medical stuff. It's much like autism, in which there's such a large spectrum. Some children can't walk, some children have severe medical issues, and some don't know that they have it until they're adults, and their children who are struggling are diagnosed with it. So I do a lot of research. My son was also diagnosed with autism. He was diagnosed at 18 months, which is the earliest that you can diagnose a child. He was exhibiting signs. I would say now, looking back, I knew something was wrong at 9 months. Not really wrong, something was different. Something was very different at 9 months. And it took us a while for people to listen. He was having a lot of medical issues, and then I was starting to notice milestone regression, and he was diagnosed with autism, level 3 nonverbal autism. We've been in therapies since he was 15 months old, and we started ABA therapy at 20 months. He is now just over 4 years old. So my life has become engulfed in research. Yes, I enjoy my child. Yes, I know that everything can't be read in a book. I'm not going to find everything to do with my child in somebody's book, but I like to go on Netflix and YouTube and all the streaming sites, and I just put in autism, or I put in rare genetic conditions, and I just like to read through, and I like to see other people's stories. And I came across the coolest little documentary called The Reason I Jump, and it's on Netflix. And it is a book that was written by a 13-year-old boy. Well, the book was written by a 13-year-old boy with autism. He is Japanese, and his name is Naoki Higashida. Might be not pronounced right. But there was a father who found this book written in Japanese, and he's a father of autism, a child with autism. And I think he was, if I remember correctly, he was living in Japan, and he came across the book, and it was written in Japanese. And so he took the book and he asked, can I translate this? And so he translated it, and that's what this is. It's Introduction by David Mitchell, translated by K.A. Yoshida and David Mitchell. So I watched the documentary, and it was so good that I had to just go on Amazon and buy the book. I want to share with you I never know if it's preface or preface to the book. I feel like preface to the book sounds good, but when you say, you know what I'm talking about. So just to kind of give you an overview of what this book introduces its readers to, it has changed my complete outlook. And I get like teary-eyed thinking about it, okay? It's changed my whole outlook on what I have kind of been doing with my child, and it's challenging me to really just kind of allow him to be who God made him to be, instead of trying to make him conform to the social norms. There are some things that I still believe that life will just be less hard for him if we can help him in those areas, but then acknowledging that he's just not gonna be and act, maybe never talk, like everybody else. It's just not, he was not born neurotypical. He has a genetic condition and also autism. He does have some learning disabilities and developmental delays, but he's extremely intelligent, extremely funny, And this book really challenged me to stop trying to make him normal. So I'm just gonna start reading, and I don't want to read the entire book to you because then you won't have to buy it. And I think you should definitely support this book. I'm learning that I can get all of the community comfort from other parents of children with disabilities and autism, but to actually hear it from the horse's mouth, to actually get a peek into that world is so enlightening. So hopefully you guys love this as much as I do. Okay, let me find where there's the introduction. And it's called The Reason I Jump. Okay. When I was small, I didn't even know that I was a kid with special needs. How did I find out? By other people telling me that I was different from everyone else and that this was a problem. True enough, it was very hard for me to act like a normal person. Even now, I still can't do a real conversation. I have no problem reading books aloud and singing, but as soon as I try to speak with someone, my words just vanish. Sure, sometimes I manage a few words, but even these can come out the complete opposite of what I want to say. I can't respond appropriately when I'm told to do something, and whenever I get nervous, I run off from wherever I happen to be. So even a straightforward activity like shopping can be really challenging if I'm tackling it on my own. So why can't I do these things? During my frustrating, miserable, helpless days, I've started imagining what it would be like if everyone was autistic. If autism was regarded simply as a personality type, things would be so much easier and happier for us than they are now. For sure, there are bad times when we cause a lot of hassle for other people, but what we really want is to be able to look toward a brighter future. Thanks to training I've had with Miss Suzuki at Hagukumi School and my mom, I've learned a method of communication via writing. Now I can even write on my computer. Problem is, many children with autism don't have the means to express themselves, and often even their own parents don't have a clue what they might be thinking. It's very true. So my big hope is that I can help a bit by explaining in my own way what's going on in the minds of people with autism. I also hope that by reading this book, you might become a better friend of someone with autism. You can't judge a person by their looks, but once you know the other person's inner self, both of you can be that much closer. From your point of view, the world of autism must look like a deeply mysterious place. So please, spare a little time to listen to what I have to say and have a nice trip through our world. And I want to read one of the questions in the book. Let's see. I'm trying to find one that kind of relates to my child. Okay, so here's one. Do you find childish language easier to understand? So this one, to me, my child is only 4, so I still use, the baby talk and, well, not so much baby talk, but my husband and I, we tend to do this thing where we talk for him because he's nonverbal. And so when he reacts to something, my husband will narrate what we think he's thinking. And sometimes we get a giggle out of him, which he's probably thinking, you're so wrong about this one. And then sometimes we get no reaction. But at some point, I have to decide that he's no longer a toddler, which he's only 4, so I get it. I have time. And not continue the talk because he doesn't respond. I can't treat him like a baby. I can't forever talk to him in that manner or talk to him in that tone. So here is Naoki's response, 13-year-old child with autism, his response to, do you find childish language easier to understand? Children with autism are also growing and developing every single day, yet we are forever being treated like babies. I guess this is because we seem to act younger than our true age, but whenever anyone treats me as if I'm still a toddler, it really hacks me off. I don't know whether people think I'll understand baby language better or whether they think I just prefer being spoken to in that way. I'm not asking you to deliberately use difficult language when you talk to people with autism, just that you treat us as we are, according to our age. Every single time I'm talked to down, I end up feeling utterly miserable, as if I'm being given zero chance of a decent future. True compassion is about not bruising the other person's self-respect. That's what I think anyway. And I think that's so important because it's not something I really thought of. That's my baby, and it's always going to be my baby. But it does, he does act more childlike than a typical 4-year-old, and so we do still do a lot of baby talk to him. And so this book is kind of challenging my way of thinking and the way that I approach my own child. There are so many awesome questions in here that he addresses, and it's just, I don't even know how to explain how amazing this book is to me. I am going to come back on and share a few more excerpts, but I highly encourage you all to purchase The Reason I Jump. If your child is autistic, definitely get this. But like he said in the preface, whatever you want to call it, he hopes that by reading this that you become a better friend to somebody with autism, that you can kind of step into their world and have a better grasp of what it is that's going on in their minds and in their brains. And the video for me and my husband was so eye-opening. The things that we used to get frustrated with, and the things we would try to deter our son from, now are the things we encourage, are now the things that we sit down and do with him, because we know and we understand now that that's what he needs. He really needs it. So yes, check it out on Netflix, The Reason I Jump, and also buy this amazing book from Naoki, last name H with a lot of letters. You definitely won't be disappointed.